Hey guys, real quick before we get into this video, before I even play the stupid intro I have planned, I literally never do this, but I'm going to today. I beg of you, I am genuinely begging that before you leave a comment on this video, you watch the entire thing, okay? That's all I ask. Thanks. I mean, look, if this turns out to all be true, I will stick my foot in my mouth and I will keep it there.
I will stick my foot in my mouth and I will keep it there. Keep it there. Keep it there. Keep it there.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I'm in defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today I have come to you to admit my faults and also get a little angry. Today I've come to put my foot in my mouth like I promised. 2 weeks ago, I made a video talking about the allegations against Mr. Beast and his project with Amazon called the Beast Games, where I stated, pretty strongly, that I'm having a hard time believing the allegations that are coming out against these games because they seemed pretty extreme to me at the time. They still do, and at the time of making that video, I just could not believe them. But since I've made that video, more has come out, a lot more that corroborates some of these allegations has come out, and it seems like there is probably quite a bit of validity to the allegations that Rosanna Pansino was helping to spread. In that video, I was wrong. Not afraid to say it. Never have been. When it came to how I was approaching the allegations, I was too dismissive of them. I think I had good reason to be, but I think I took it a step too far and I got too far away from being objective, which I try not to do. Doesn't always happen. And I think I could have done that video a little bit better. But after reading thousands and thousands of comments on that video, I have proven to myself that making that video was in fact important. I was wrong about the Beast Games. I was wrong to instantly dismiss the allegations. I was wrong to pick and choose about what should be believable based off of nothing but like my intuition. That's stupid and I shouldn't have done it. But a lot of the things I said in that video still hold up, and reading the comments on that video prove that to me. And some of those comments are what we're going to be looking at today, because over the last 2 weeks, I've been called a lot of things. Dumbass, victim blamer, misogynist, Mr. Beast enabler, a whole lot of stuff that I'm not going to allow people to say about me without addressing it. On top of that, I have had people just completely lie about me, which I'm also not going to allow to happen, because quite frankly, I don't like those things being spread about me. And well, like I mentioned in that video, people these days often don't really need to see any evidence for anything to believe it. As long as they hear it or they see a comment with enough likes that says it, they take it as fact. So that's why we're here, to admit I'm wrong and to also set the record straight. So let's dive into a few of these comments. Now, the first category or genre of comment, whatever you want to call it, that we're going to be talking about is also the most common and I think the most divisive thing about this video, and it's comments regarding my stance on saying that we can't really believe these allegations because it's just somebody saying this happened. Now, it's clear to me that a lot of people don't really like this kind of thinking these days, and I really don't give a shit. Like, whether you like it or not, your favorite YouTuber reading a DM she got is not evidence for anything. Like, look, it would be one thing if in these videos she was showing us evidence proving that she knew these people were actually Mr. Beast employees, but we never got any of that. All we got were screenshots of DMs or text messages. Guys, that's not evidence. The fact that those stories are being corroborated and they're being proven to likely be true still doesn't make those text messages evidence. We live in a world where anybody can say anything about you, and if we truly moved this precedent of if somebody says something about you, you have to prove it's not true, we're fucked. Like, seriously, imagine I scrolled through the comment section, I picked a random person, I made a fake Instagram account, and then I DM'd myself, hey dude, commenter number 37 showed up at my house last night. He knocked on my door. I answered it. He slapped me and called me a little pig boy. And then I attach your name to that and I tell it to 500,000 people. How are you going to prove that that didn't happen? When 500,000 people don't care what you have to say because a YouTuber that they blindly trust tells them something, what do you do? For example, this comment here, man, I kind of don't think some people realize how Rosanna is. I know I don't know her in person or anything, and obviously she can act differently off camera, but Rosanna is seriously a very cheerful and clean YouTuber. From the time I used to watch her, she's generally a very nice and peaceful content creator. She has a very cheerful attitude and has such contagious joy that easily spreads. From what I've seen, her background from controversy is clean. Her talking with a serious tone is so unfamiliar. I'm not saying she is telling the truth, but I'm saying her coming out about this should at least be taken seriously. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm talking about. This person admits in their comment that they've never met this person. They have no idea the true character of them, but based off their persona on YouTube, they trust what they're saying. Now look, I'm not saying that Rosanna Pansino should not be trusted. There's this narrative that I don't like Rosanna Pansino or something, and we're gonna get into that more later. But the very first video I ever made about Mr. Beast on this channel was about the whole Rosanna Pansino and the creator game situation. And in that video, I said I completely believe what Rosanna is saying. I don't think she has any reason to lie about this. Mr. Beast shouldn't have done this. You can go fact check me if you want, but that's the first video I made about Mr. Beast on my channel. But this idea that you can trust YouTubers just because you think they're a nice person based off their videos, the internet loves to talk about how bad parasocial relationships are until it's something like this. I have nothing against Rosanna Pansino. I think she should have proven to us, though, that she knows the people she's talking to are actual Mr. Beast contestants. I mean, it sort of defeats the purpose of spreading these accusations if nobody can confirm they're true or not. And look, I understand that she was probably bound by quite a lot and could obviously not include quite a bit of information, but I mean, you could at least tell us how you know this person is who they say they are. Like, you gotta give us something. Or, I mean, you don't, because as long as you're a clean enough YouTuber, people will believe anything you say. And how many times have we seen a beloved YouTuber, after 10 years of nothing, have horrible, terrible shit come out against them? You don't know your favorite YouTuber. Watching a person for a long time does not mean you should trust them. Now look, there is a healthy medium somewhere in between there. I don't think you should blindly trust a YouTuber just because you like them, and you should probably not do what I did either, and just completely dismiss everything just because things weren't presented perfectly. That was really stupid of me. I was horribly hypocritical in that video because I'm sitting here talking about people believing things blindly, and I'm doing something that's arguably worse. I'm dismissing things blindly. I went into the situation with my mind made up, and that's just not fair. I'm not gonna sit here and try and defend that because I know better. I really do, and I just fucked up. Making a video where I say allegations sound too insane to be true is dumb shit. That's a L for me, as the kids would say. And I apologize for that because it was fucking stupid. However, can we all agree that what the best step probably would have been was for me not to make a stupid video, but also for everybody to not be like, okay, we all know this has to be true, there's no way it's not, let's run with this as fact. I think what should have happened is I should have taken a step back, everybody else should have taken a step back, and we should have gone, okay, Rosanna Pansino is a respected content creator who has been right about Mr. Beast in the past, far before anybody caught on. She has no reason to lie about this. She's probably overwhelmed with the amount of responsibility that's sort of fallen onto her shoulders. I doubt she wants to be the one who has to dismantle Mr. Beast. Let's take those two things into consideration and give her the benefit of the doubt. That should have been my thought process. And now that I've had some time to look back and reflect on it, it is. If I were to remake that video, I'm still gonna hold my stance of we need a little bit more. But I should have just said that. I shouldn't have just said, no, these are too crazy, there's no way. Should have said, okay, Rosanna's a smart lady. She's not gonna blindly believe some random fucking DM of somebody saying some crazy shit. She's gonna do her due diligence. Can you give us some insight on what that was? We don't necessarily need like hard evidence. We don't want to incriminate anybody or get rid of anybody's anonymity, but can we just have something just so we know that something was done for Rosanna to be confident coming forward and saying this is what is happening? Because I'm sure something was done for her to do that. But at some point you've got to stop making assumptions and you've got to have just a little bit more to say, okay, this is my stance and this is why. And I feel like I've said this a million times at this point. I'm really trying not to repeat myself here, but it happens with these long ranty videos. The problem is that we just had nothing to show that happened. We can assume all day, we can say that Rosanna's a trusted, respected content creator. There's no way she wouldn't have done that, but anybody can say that. Like, all I'm asking for is for her to have just said, look, I did this. I'm putting my credibility on the line here. I made sure this wasn't bullshit. That's it. And honestly, I feel like that's a fair thing to ask. But I'm gonna go back to what I said in my original video. Objectively, Rosanna Pansino provided no evidence that any of this stuff happened. I don't know why so many people are so quick to look past that. Now, I think one of the issues was that a lot of people took me saying that as me calling like Rosanna a liar. I'm not saying that Rosanna Pansino is a bad person or she's a liar or she's doing this for clout, she's making shit up. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that she gave us no reason or no proof that that wasn't the case. I don't think that's what she's doing. The claims weren't even hers. I believe that she believed what she was telling us, but you've got to give us something as to why. She said she had all these statements from all of these different employees, and I asked the question, why are we not seeing these? A lot of people responded saying that it's probably because of legal hoops to jump through, and and I don't know if I really can buy into that, because if all these people signed the same documents, why are some statements able to be released and some aren't? It just seems weird to me that you would come onto the internet and say, hey, look, all of this crazy, horrible shit is happening, I have proof, but you don't get it. Like seriously, in any other situation, that would be questionable. But since people don't like Mr. Beast right now, understandably so, I don't either, people are willing to look past that, and I don't think that's good. Again, that was my entire reasoning for making that video in the first place. Again, I'm not saying that Rosanna Pansino is a liar. I'm not saying that she's doing this for any other reason than to try and stop Mr. Beast from being a real-life fucking supervillain. I don't doubt that she would have said, hey, how do I know you're a Mr. Beast employee? And she would have got confirmation. I have no doubt that all of those things happened. The problem is that there's no evidence that it did. Now, I feel like at this point, I've sort of talked about that video in and of itself enough. Now, I want to circle back for the final time as to why I actually made that video in the first place. Right now, when it comes to stuff like this on the internet, there are two opposing schools of thought. One is people are innocent until proven guilty. The other is that people are guilty until proven innocent. The whole guilty until proven innocent thing is so unbelievably fucking dangerous, and it's marketed as this like progressive viewpoint, and it's the furthest thing from it. Guys, guilty until proven innocent is the most backwards way of thinking I can imagine. And it's crazy to me that so many progressive thinkers cannot see that. I consider myself a pretty progressive person. Society as a whole moving back to a guilty until proven innocent mindset, and keep in mind I say moving back to, is one of the biggest intangible dangers to marginalized communities. Which is why I can't understand for the life of me why so many young progressive people are adopting this mindset. Guilty until proven innocent has claimed so many fucking lives over the course of history that it's insane to me that people want to move back to it. The idea that once a person is labeled as bad, once they are somebody that society doesn't like, that the way forward is, hey man, look, you know that guy over there? The guy none of us like? You know why. Look, I've heard some rumors that he's done some pretty shady shit. Yeah, they're just rumors, but we know what those kind of people do. We can assume he did it. That is what this kind of thinking takes us back to, guys. I mean, with the state of the internet right now and all the insane rhetoric going around with stuff like all trans people are groomers, blatant racism coming back to the internet in full force. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter recently, but it's a fucking mess. Now is not the time to try and be reintroducing the concept of if we don't like somebody, we don't need evidence for them to be guilty. Now, obviously, Mr. Beast is literally the furthest fucking thing from a member of a marginalized community. He's a white male billionaire. You really just can't get further away than that. But the fact that it's happening to Mr. Beast is why it's so scary. I'm not standing up for Mr. Beast. The dude's a piece of shit, and I've said that forever. I have people in the comment section of that video saying, I've always stood up for him, I've always liked him, you're a fucking dumbass. Literally every single video I've ever made on Mr. Beast has been a negative video about Mr. Beast. Way before the dog pack videos, I was saying this guy's a fucking psychopath for wanting to put people in solitary confinement for no other reason than for a YouTube video. Now that's the popular opinion, but it wasn't 6 months ago. I don't like the guy. I think he's weird. I think he's some sort of crazy narcissist who likes to have these weird power dynamics over people. I don't like him. But that is why I find it so important to defend even him on a situation like this. Ladies and gentlemen, in the time that your grandparents have been living, not liking a person has been justification enough to find them guilty of anything. People have died because societies adopt this mindset. Just because you don't like Mr. Beast doesn't mean you can instantly find him guilty of anything. You cannot be a responsible adult and think that's okay. You can't. It's important to believe victims, absolutely. But it is equally as important that we do not go back to a point in our history where all it takes is a person pointing a finger for a figurative or a literal death sentence. Now, to try and wrap this up, I want to show you guys a few examples of what I'm talking about to show you that I'm not just exaggerating and pulling shit out of my ass. Here's a comment that says, why do you keep invalidating all of her points? Besides, Mr. Beast was already accused of maybe equally worse things. What makes you think this is different? Literally a textbook example of what I'm talking about. Bad guy did bad things in the past, so now we have a pass to believe everything anybody ever says about him. Now, here's a really cool one. He mentioned multiple times how much her voice was weird or bothered him. He might just subconsciously dislike her. The he in that comment is referring to me. What? If you can find a single instance of me saying anything at all about Rosanna's voice, I don't know, I'll give you the information in my bank account. This is what I'm talking about. The people in this comment section decide that they don't really like me right now, so they just start making shit up. And look at that, 11 likes. 11 people did not bother to fact check this comment because they figured, oh, well, he said something we don't like. This is probably true, right? And not a single reply mentions this. There's a whole discourse about this. A guy replies, I mean, that's no excuse for invalidating her points or something. And then the guy who made this claim in the first place replies, yeah, not saying he's remotely justified, just saying he's a regular guy that can give a bad take for a dumb reason. It's just this take is a little irrational in my opinion, so I figure he must have an irrational reason. Like, this dude seems like he's having a completely normal take. He doesn't like my take. It's irrational. He thinks there must be a reason behind it. Fine. He has made up in his mind. He has pulled from an imaginary fucking video that I dislike her voice. And that's why I don't believe her. You can't make this shit up. What I am saying is a problem is happening in real time in front of you. Now look, I could go through hundreds of these comments and continue to work myself up, but I just don't think that's worth it for two reasons. One, some of the stuff that people said is not even worth addressing as it's just so crazy. And then two, most of the comments are pretty solid. They're calling me out for some dumb shit I did, and there's nothing I can really say to defend myself because there's nothing to defend. I had a bad, illogical, hypocritical take that I defended with my full chest out, and now I'm deflating. Not gonna try and defend it. I fucked up. With that being said, one last thing. Now, I said something in that video, and my God, was it the biggest mistake of my lousy career. I made a comment about bones breaking. Holy shit. I don't think there's been anything else in my entire YouTube career that has gotten as much backlash as this comment I made about bones breaking. The way I interpreted what Rosanna was saying was that people were just walking up to each other and like fucking snapping elbows and shit. For some reason, a reason I don't understand and I can't think of, it was not clicking to me that people were getting their bones broken because they were tackled. I played football from age 5 to 17, and the only reason I stopped when I was 17 is because I fractured my neck. I know many a people who broke their bones playing football. I unfortunately broke one person's bone in my time playing football. I'm well aware that contact sports can lead to broken bones. Biggest blunder of my career. Made me look like a complete dumbass, and you guys took advantage of it, and I'm happy for that. Look, I'm glad we have a community on this channel where you guys are gonna hold me responsible. Unlike a lot of YouTubers, you guys don't just blindly follow and accept everything I say. If I say some dumb shit, you guys hold me accountable, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So hopefully that was a little bit of a peek into the mind. I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from a little bit better, and I hope there's no hard feelings, okay? If I could redo that video, don't know if I would. Learning lesson for me, and I think it also opened up a pretty telling discussion about how things are perceived on the internet. But I've been talking for way too long. Most of this is probably not even gonna make it into the video, but I've been talking for quite some time. So I'm gonna stop, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.